Hey YouTubers, if you like what you see, make sure you click the subscribe button below. Today we're going to talk about Dynasty running back player values. So sit back, crack a cold one, and enjoy.
In a world where losing in your fantasy football league isn't an option,
New team with this.
we present to you
Basically.
Triple
New
Coverage
team with
Podcast.
this. Yeah. You can do that.
Parker is there at camp right now.
I don't even finish it. Coach me, Caleb Blush.
Blush, yeah.
Blush.
Maybe
Chisel. He's an Adonis.
Andrew Luck still hasn't thrown a football, and it's 499 days now and counting. Ron Mexico.
Ron Mexico was Mike
Ron
Vick's name.
Mexico.
Yeah, Ron Mexico.
But a whole lot of different areas of your body.
Groin.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. I'm Travis Sutton. I'm here with the boys, James Up and Jay Up.
Groin. What's up, guys?
And we are TCP, Triple Coverage. We're going to talk running back player values today. We're going to get into some various guys that we find interesting and for like a dynasty kind of aspect. Making trades, making drafts, draft picks, draft choices.
Who to stay away
we kind of
from,
see these guys, or if we're not sure, maybe bounce some ideas off of each other and maybe get a better idea of what that value is like out there.
I have a feeling we're going to have different opinions on a lot of these guys, like always. So,
That's how it should be.
yeah, that's how Dynasty is. That's why we like Dynasty, though.
That's why you can get a different view. I mean, there's going to be a different viewpoint, so everyone kind of take what they want to take from it.
That's how you find value. I mean, if a guy values a guy more than you, and you're just like, I don't really value him that much,
Steal.
you can sell him at a good price.
Yeah, sell them or we buying. I mean, you're buying, you're selling.
Buy low, sell high.
Yeah, it's just like the stock market, but with football players, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
The market.
All right, consider me Wall Street.
A wolf. So where are we going to start? Jay, you got somebody you want to start with?
Let's start right off the bat with Jerrick McKinnon.
Ooh, J Mac.
All right, I mean, they gave him a ton of money.
Boatloads.
They just drafted, though, the year before Joe Williams, who didn't even get an opportunity at all because he was hurt.
And Breda.
And Breda, who got a little bit of opportunity behind Hyde and did, okay, I guess. I mean, it wasn't fantasy relevant where you were starting him every week by any means, but he was there.
The narrative on McKinnon is Shanahan. He's going there to be the guy. You saw what he did with Freeman in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's got rose-colored glasses on completely.
Hype train.
Looking at the money he's getting paid. Contracts are going up, too, so it's not like it's 10 years ago when he's getting this kind of money. And you're like, whoa.
Right, that's true.
Where do you think it's justified, this hype? Do you think he's going to ball out this year?
You know, I wasn't on the McKinnon hype train even when he signed that deal with San Francisco because I said, let's wait till the draft happens. Let's see if they bring in somebody else that maybe push him for a little bit of playing time. But when they didn't do that, I'm starting to lean more towards McKinnon being maybe a top 12 running back this year. I think he's a better pass catcher than Carlos Hyde. They let Carlos Hyde walk, and I'm not super impressed with Joe Williams or Matt Breda as far as eating into his time. I think they're very viable backups, but I just don't see them eating into McKinnon's time.
Well, you mentioned Freeman in Atlanta, correct?
I did.
Okay. Who else was there in Atlanta when Freeman was there?
Tevin Coleman.
Did Tevin Coleman get a lot of snaps and a lot of reps and a lot of opportunity and targets?
Yes.
He did.
So what makes you think, though, that they'll just go all in on McKinnon and not give the other guys the ball as like spellbacks or passing backs or however they fit in? They're going to fit in somewhere, in my opinion. They're not just going to go every down back McKinnon and run him into the ground because that's not the style that he is used to coaching. He's used to having that second back and kind of, rotating him a little bit. And you have your 1A, for sure, that's McKinnon. That's not even close. I wouldn't even say it's a 1A, 1B. It's a 1 and a 2, but they still use two guys very often. It's kind of like Sean Payton for the New Orleans. Like, no matter who the guy is and no matter how good he's had, he always uses a second guy just to mix it up. So I don't see McKinnon just getting everything.
I don't think he's going to get everything either.
Well,
but you're
how do
mentioning
you figure
guys
it?
that are finishing as RB1s. Like you just mentioned Sean Payton in New Orleans, and you have Kamara and Ingram that both finished top 10.
Right.
Then you have Devontae Freeman, who didn't finish top 10, but he was an RB1 all those other years, especially when Shanahan was there.
Okay.
What did he finish last year in the PPR? He finished 14, so he's right outside, and he missed a couple of games. So I don't see why McKinnon couldn't finish as an RB1. And I'm
Okay.
not saying a top 5 running back. I'm saying a top 12.
Do you think? Excuse me. Do you think Devontae Freeman is better than McKinnon, or
Yes.
do you think McKinnon's as
Yes.
good as Freeman?
I think Freeman is better than McKinnon.
But the thing is to me is that here's the okay, his value right now, McKinnon's value we're talking, is so high that for me it's not worth taking a chance on. Like people are gonna want a first round draft pick for him right now because he's the man before he's even taken a snap as the man, and I'm not willing to pay that. So if I own McKinnon, I'll flip him right now for a first round pick, but I just don't know who's gonna give that to you unless you're really hurting at running back and you truly believe that McKinnon's going to get is going to be a top 10 or a top 12 guy, then okay, it's worth it. But I want to see it first. You have a new quarterback there. You have a couple new receivers there. You have running back is new. It's just there's a lot of moving parts. I kind of want to see it first before I'm willing to give up a first round pick for anybody, and that's any situation. I just want to see what I have first.
That's a good point. The Garoppolo narrative,
Right.
Yeah.
Because everybody's very, very high on Garoppolo.
Both of them are skyrocketing. Between Garoppolo and McKinnon, it's going to make somebody's head explode.
That hype train's like feeding off of
Mhm.
each other. Like
Right.
the Cole being thrown into that train is Garoppolo and McKinnon, and it's just kind of feeding each other. I think there's Breda is there.
Mhm.
Like he was used some last year. He's going to be used. We haven't seen Joe Williams. He got hurt. We haven't really seen Joe Williams. So, I mean, they moved up a little bit to get him last year. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm not a huge fan. I wasn't really last year. I didn't like the idea of targeting him where he was kind of going in our rookie drafts.
Yeah, he went high.
A little bit. But they have pieces to work with. Do I think the guy at the top of that pecking order is McKinnon? Yes, I do. I'm a Minnesota fan, and I've seen him in Minnesota for a while. And when he did get a chance to get a heavier workload, he's not built to withstand that. So I think they have to use multiple backs there. I think he could possibly squeak in as a back end wide receiver 1, but he's notoriously a running back. Excuse me.
Right.
Running back 2. He could be
Correct.
a high RB2.
But
I think that's the floor almost.
Yeah,
of the high
and
RB2.
We've kind of talked some of the positives on McKinnon. Okay, obviously the situation he's going in, the contract.
What's
There's
the
not a whole
negatives?
lot behind
What's
the
the
negatives
negatives?
behind him. Like you said, his
Size?
size. He's 5'9", 205 pounds. So he's basically like Ronald Jones
Mhm.
coming out this year in Tampa, kind of like his size. And no one was super high on Ronald Jones, and a lot of the knocks were because of his size,
Mhm.
not being able to be an every down back. Another negative. He's never had a season, and this is going into his 5th year. He's never had a season where he had over 159 attempts. He's never
Correct.
reached 160 attempts. So we don't really know what he's been like when he's gotten a huge sample size. And his highest rushing total of his entire career in one season, 570 yards.
Yeah, so why are they so high on him?
I mean, he's never been the guy. He's behind Adrian Peterson. He's behind Dalvin Cook.
But when Adrian Peterson left, and Minnesota went out and drafted Dalvin Cook very, very high, why not see what they had there in McKinnon? So clearly, they had him for a few years before they had Cook and know what McKinnon can do, and they definitely weren't sold on him clearly because they also had Matt Asiata was there and all.
No,
those,
they signed Latavius Murray. Though,
Murray. Okay.
before they drafted
Right,
Dalvin
so
Cook. So
and
they
then
knew
instead
they
of
had
having
Murray
those two
and
guys,
McKinnon, yeah.
right, and then you went out and got a third guy. So to me, that's a little bit of a concern that they had him already on their team and didn't want to pay him now even. They went out and got Cook and we're okay with letting him go. But the thing that he has that's good for him, I think, is that I think San Francisco's going to be down a lot of games. I think that Garoppolo is going to be dumping down to him. His receiving, to me, is going to be the difference whether he makes it into a top 10, top 12,
Yes.
or not. If he can get the 60 to 70 catches, which is not outlandish because a bunch of running backs did it last year, but if he can get 60 catches, I think that he can easily get into the 10, 11, 12 range for running backs. But that's a huge if with the receptions and staying healthy.
That's one of the big positives because like last year he had 51 receptions, the year before that 43 receptions. So he's a guy that can catch the ball. And if you're going to tell me that Garoppolo's going to be dumping off to him more than anybody else in the running back committee there, then you have to almost not buy him, but you have to almost figure he's going to be a back-end RB1 or a high-end RB2. Doesn't mean I'm buying him because, like you said, the price is a little high.
So
that's what I was just gonna say.
What's a good price since we're talking value? What's a decent price that you could see yourself paying if you were going to try and acquire Jerrick McKinnon?
You'd have to give up a back-end first round.
What would you be willing to pay? Is what I'm saying. What I'm asking.
I would do a second and a third, or if I knew. See, right now we don't know the 2019, obviously, because the 2018. Oh, okay. Actually, you know what? No, we haven't done our 2018 draft yet. So if I know right now I'm picking at number 10, 11, 12 in a 12-man league as a rookie pick, yeah, I would do that. If I had like the 110, I would throw that out there. I'm not giving up a top 7, top 8 even, and then 9 is kind of where I draw the line. Like 9 to 12 range, I would take a shot in the dark if I need a running back, because at that point in a rookie draft, the top probably 5 or 6 running backs that are coming out are also going to be gone. So do you want a guy like McKinnon who's going to get a guaranteed chance right off the get-go, or do you want to take a shot in the dark on like a Royce Freeman or a Ronald Jones? I'll take my chances with Jerrick McKinnon.
I agree. Back in first round pick, I would give up. I would not give up a top 5 or 6 first round. He's 26 years old, and he just turned 26.
Still young.
Yeah, he's still young because he hasn't had a lot of workload. He's
Tread on the tires.
He's that Gio Bernard, Deion Lewis, that whole deal. He can do a little bit of both, but sustaining it for a long period of time, I think, is asking for troubles. Yes, I agree with the back end first round. If I'm in win now mode and my team is basically that good and I need either a little bit of depth at running back that can be really plugged in and used, then yeah, I make the push and I go get him. If I'm not in like win now mode and I'm going to be competitive this year, I'm not going to spend capital on a middle-aged running back.
Right.
I'll take my shots
on the rookie
as well, deeper, but it depends on where my team is at that time. Do we good on
yeah, let's do one more guy here. Who do you want to talk about, James? Or do you want me to throw somebody out?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's do C.J. Anderson.
Like
C.J. Anderson, 27 years old, and in 2017 was his first time he rushed for over 1,000 yards. He barely made it, 1,007. 3 touchdowns, not too much on the reception end though. 28 receptions last year, so they didn't use him heavily in the passing game, which is good because Denver lets him walk, and he goes to Carolina where they already have the quote-unquote receiving running back in Christian McCaffrey. Where do you see his value going from Denver and Denver's offense into Carolina and running with Cam Newton, McCaffrey, and what they have there?
I'm very unsure about it, so I'm gonna let Travis go first because I
like it. I actually like the situation. I think it's a good situation. They need that type of back there, and I think optimally, McCaffrey is a wide receiver basically. So I think they want to be able to still keep him in that kind of area and have a guy that can kind of pound around and can catch a little bit. I think C.J. Anderson is a decent talent. He's a decent running back. I think things got a little... They didn't really... I feel like they didn't like him or weren't all in on him in Denver for whatever reason. They were always drafting guys in to bring in behind him, and he was getting banged up here and there. But I love the landing spot myself. This is the perfect kind of guy for me if I need some depth, or I want a good guy that I can kind of plug in as my RB2, and he's probably not super expensive. Like, this is the kind of guys that I like to look for. I don't want to overpay for somebody, but this is the kind of guy that I want to go out and get.
For me, the impressive thing that he did rush for 1,000 yards is these last 2 seasons, his quarterback play has been absolutely horrendous, and it's been a rotation of who's who of just random guys with the Lynch and so on, Simeon and whatever. And it's like, for the fact that he ran for 1,000 yards with a horrible quarterback not doing anything, is pretty impressive. So clearly he still has some in the tank, and yeah, he was getting banged up, but he did play all 16 games. And I think if he goes to Carolina, a lot better quarterback situation there in Cam Newton. You already have the pass catching back, so you don't have to worry about that. He's basically going to be the in between the tackles banger, and he's not going to be getting pulled at the goal line anymore. He's going to be the guy that should be getting 20 touches a game at least. And I think that he has every opportunity to succeed in that offense. A lot better chance than he had in Denver with the quarterback play there.
I like where he landed too. I think that it's a lateral as far as like team move, but just because of the situation he's going to with a better quarterback, the better offensive weapons they have there, and that was a mess in Denver's quarterback. That carousel they were running back there. I mean, even Osweiler got in a little bit. And what do you expect out of C.J. Anderson if every team's going to stack the box?
He still averaged over 4 yards a carry, which is very good.
He's still got some left in the tank. I think it's a great situation to be there with McCaffrey because now you take that pressure off of him of having to receive the ball. He's basically going to be your first and second down guy, and they're going to mix in McCaffrey every once in a while on first and second down. But McCaffrey is clear-cut your receiving guy, and even in a PPR league where Anderson might only get a few receptions, I still like him to finish in that RB2 range.
Yeah, he finishes running back 18 last year.
In a PPR
so
league.
Do you see him going up from there or the same, lower?
I don't know as far as like finishing spot, but I still see him as an RB2. So that could be anywhere from like the 13 range to the 24 range. I see him finishing in that same exact spot. I think he could have a little bit better of a season, yes.
But see, I think that a lot of goal line. This is what scares me a little bit about his touchdown production. He only had 3 last year in Denver. Now you go to Carolina, and a lot of times when Carolina's inside the 2-yard line, who gets a touchdown?
Cam Newton.
Cam Newton. He runs it up the middle, so he might not get that many touchdowns. You have to look for him to get the bulk of the carries and the load. And he only had 3 last year.
But
He
if
could
he
easily
finishes
get 5.
if he finishes running back 18 in a PPR
Right.
league with only 3 touchdowns,
That's what I mean. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I see him as middle to upper end RB2.
Okay.
I don't think he's closer to
Back
the
in.
back end. I think he.
I think he finishes right where he's at, 18, which
I
is
think-
right in the middle of RB2.
I think Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
would rather have a running back running into the end zone than have their quarterback.
But they just didn't have that option, really.
Yeah, I mean, you got an aging Jonathan Stewart who still has a little bit left, but it's been on fumes. It's getting down there for him. So, yeah.
Before that, they had
sometimes-
Tolbert for a while that they
Yeah.
were using him as well.
But that's why I think it's a better situation for him as a team because, like you said, you get rid of Jonathan Stewart, who's I think 31 going into the season. You
Mhm.
bring in C.J. Anderson, and I think it's a good fit. I think it's a good mix to have Anderson and McCaffrey there because you're
All
not
right.
relying on either one of them.
price.
I'll let somebody else go.
If you're say you have him,
I want at least a second.
okay.
Yes,
Middle second.
I'd say high second.
Yeah, like 205, 206 is fine.
Well, that's about middle, yeah. With 205, that's not enough for you.
If I'm selling him, yeah, I'll take a 205. If I'm selling him, yes.
Okay. You guys wouldn't take a back end second, like a 9, 10.
No, because
No,
of
I would want something else thrown in with it. If I'm
Yeah.
gonna take the 210 in a rookie draft, I want to throw something thrown in there, either like a 4th round or something else, just something extra.
sweeten the pot.
A little extra.
What about you? Same.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't take like if I was selling him, I wouldn't take a back end
No.
second to let him go for sure. I don't know if I'd sell him for. It depends on where my team was. Like if I clearly had decent depth, then yeah, I'd take a middle to upper second for him. If I need that depth, and if I get rid of this guy, even though
Would you
Might
feel
be-
Would you feel comfortable as him as your starting running back, like your RB2 in a dynasty league?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
Do you-
I've had worse RB2s
For sure.
That, so
That's what I mean. And if he's your 3rd running back and you're only playing him on bye weeks and
Yeah.
matchups, then I love it even more.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, for sure.
So does he rush for 1,000 yards again?
Ooh, I don't know.
He's only done it once in his career, and it was last year. He rushed for 1,007 yards.
I'm gonna say he doesn't rush for 1,000 yards, but I'm gonna say his touchdown total goes up. I'm gonna say his touchdown total is gonna be somewhere in the 5-6 range, but he's gonna be right around the 850 as far as yards go.
You know what? I'd have to look into that a little.
Like,
bit
look at
more,
everyone
'cause-
around him.
Well, I'm not sure the scheme that they run because I
Right,
know
right.
certain running backs are better in certain schemes. So if the scheme is like the fit for him, then I could see him getting right there again. But if it's kind of something he has to learn, it's not really his forte necessarily. Then
Mhm.
yeah, I agree with Jay. Probably closer to 850.
But I think his touchdown total does go up because I think he's a bigger battering ram than say McCaffrey.
Right.
So,
But
even
you
though
like-
McCaffrey did bulk up a little
You
bit.
do like
That's-
McCaffrey more
that's
than
a
Anderson.
stretch, a bigger battery ram than McCaffrey.
Well, McCaffrey.
It's a hot take, bro.
Have you seen McCaffrey's arms lately, bro?
No, but I've seen his bazookas.
He's got 24-inch pythons now.
2 tickets to the gun show. I heard.
Listen, brother. He's like, give me the ball, brother.
Just for the record, I don't like that.
What, brother?
I don't like a running back putting on weight.
I do.
I'd rather have a running back lose a little weight.
He said he put on 5 pounds of good muscle, but so
That's
did David
never-
Boston in Arizona, and he became a bodybuilder. So
Yeah, but he doesn't have to be the guy outside, like a speed guy. Like, they're going to be dumping him off. They're lining him up everywhere. So I don't think that
Well,
that's
he is
relevant.
kind of the speed guy.
But he's not lining up on the outside like David Boston trying to beat somebody for a deep route.
But he does go out and line up outside of the backfield.
Right, but it's all short
Um,
slants and
where you need to be quick. That's what I'm saying. As
Yeah,
far as putting on
that's
weight,
true.
that slows your movement down. It affects your movement, and that's a little scary for me. Because all the guys like Le'Veon Bell, all these guys, they put on all that weight for the combine and all that kind of stuff. But when they come into the league, they usually start shedding a little bit, and that's when they get really good.
you like the agile.
Yes, I like agility.
Yeah.
Agility scores through the roof, please.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else you want to add to C.J. Anderson or to Jerrick McKinnon?
no, actually.
Okay.
One more guy, and then we'll wrap this up.
Sure.
Let's do it. You want me to name another guy?
Throw it out.
Let's throw out Carlos Hyde, another guy that has changed teams in the offseason. He went from a decent spot in San Francisco where he was like the guy to now going to Cleveland. He's 27 years old, and he'll be 28 when the actual season starts. So they go out, they draft Nick Chubb, They still have Duke Johnson there, who they use as a receiving back. They have Matthew Days, who's like just added for depth there. They signed him to, I believe, a 3-year deal, but the way his contract is set up, they can cut him after this year and not have a huge cap hit. So I think they almost brought him in just to make sure that Chubb, I think they wanted to draft a running back in this draft. I don't know if they were just keying on Chubb, but they wanted to draft a running back. I think that they just brought him in kind of as insurance, and they'll just kind of see how it goes. I don't see him being in Cleveland after this year.
I heard a good thing.
Nice.
I heard a bad thing.
Just recently that free agency. I can't remember exactly who I heard it from. Free agency is for filling. I think it was the Eagles general manager.
Howie Roseman?
Yes, I believe. Don't take that as
No, I already quoted you on
gospel,
that.
but that free agency is for filling needs, and the draft is for drafting talent.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's what Cleveland kind of did. They filled some needs that they have, because clearly they were going to let Crowell go. The writing was on the wall kind of for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just drafted talent. And when Chubb was there for them at that spot, it's hard to pass. Like, I wouldn't fault them or say that was way too early. Like, I really like Chubb. It's a bad omen for Hyde, I believe.
Yeah.
I like Hyde's talent.
He's not feeling great, probably.
But yeah, if you're going out like value-wise and looking to acquire a running back, he's approaching 30. He's still got a couple years. I mean, you don't want to look too far ahead. You're always in the win now in the next 2 years kind of thing in Dynasty. That's how I like to look at it. So that's a tough one for me, because if you might be able to get him for a good price, because the owner is scared of Chubb being there, and they don't know what they're getting with Hyde this year.
In a Dynasty startup, who goes first? Carlos Hyde or Chubb?
Probably Chubb, because when you do a startup, sometimes you go youth.
Yeah.
So my thing that Cleveland could have done, if they really did want to draft for talent, they could have taken Barkley at the number 1. Let's be honest. You take Barkley at the number 1. You have the Giants and whoever. Yes, they could have still got their guy.
Their biggest need was quarterback.
They could have got. There was 5 of them coming out. They could have got their guy at number 4. They could have got Mayfield at 4. Yes.
But they don't know that for sure. They don't know that for
but
sure.
How do you not take Barkley there?
Because now you're paying him as like one of the top running backs. The Giants are already paying
But you
him
just
as the
gave all
top-
that money to Hyde. Instead of giving it to Hyde, you
But they
already know
cut-
you own the first
They
pick.
didn't cut yeah, but you don't
You know you have the first pick. Is
look
what I'm
back
saying.
on history, dude. You don't just take certain positions.
Take the best
as number
player.
one.
They can
That's
cut
fine.
Hyde. They can cut Hyde after 1 year, and they don't have that cap hit. That's the point. With Saquon Barkley going number 2 to the Giants, they're going to owe him big. They're paying him as a top running back already. He hasn't even taken a snap
He
yet.
just went number 1 in a Dynasty startup, by the way. Barkley in our Dynasty startup.
I wouldn't take him number 1 overall. I mean, he's definitely a first rounder, but I wouldn't take him number 1 overall. It's a guy that hasn't even taken a snap in the NFL yet.
And where's Chubb going? Like what round?
I don't know where Chubb ended up going. I would say probably the
Third.
if I had to guess.
I don't
Fourth?
know. I just
Third or
think
fourth?
I just think they could have done it different. And
Why? But why though? Your most important position is not your running back; it's your quarterback. And by all things that are coming out now, Baker was a lot higher on people's boards than we all expected and thought. So, if you think that that's the guy and he is the guy for you, you don't take a chance. You don't take a chance.
I think they did it the right way. I think they should have gone quarterback first. If that's who they loved was Baker Mayfield, then that's who they need to go after. The only thing I disagree with Cleveland's whole draft was that number 4 pick taking Denzel Ward. I think they should have taken Bradley Chubb.
right, they got it.
I think they should have taken Bradley Chubb right there and paired him up with Myles Garrett and just had an awesome defensive line, for the future. And then you still get Chubb later on in the draft, which I think they took Chubb in the second round with the first or second pick of the second round. So they still got a great running back, and I think he's going to end up being the future there. And I think the writing's on the wall for Carlos Hyde. So I don't think Carlos Hyde is going to be a Brown next year.
So value wise, and if you own Carlos Hyde,
I'm you know what, value wise, if I own Carlos Hyde, I'm just praying that in the first couple of games of the season he has a really good game and just kind of blows up so I can flip him, because I don't want to be in the Carlos Hyde business.
right? So if you're an owner of Carlos Hyde, you should be looking to ship him. But what if right now you were to ship Carlos Hyde? You have him on your team. What would you take for him, or what would you expect? What's the asking price for Carlos Hyde? Because I think it's at an all-time low right now in the draft.
I would want a second round, but I don't know anybody that's going to give a high second round for Carlos.
Like
Hyde.
a 205, same thing that we said for C.J. Anderson, like
Yes.
a high second.
That's what I
205.
would want if I was a Carlos Hyde owner, but I don't think I'd be able to get that if I was trying to shop him.
I would give it to you.
Just on the fact that he might go somewhere different
I
and be in
would
a better
send you that
situation.
offer- I would send you that offer right now.
But listen to
if
this.
you had Hyde.
No, but listen. He's 28 when the season starts, right? So fast forward one more year when they can cut him. Now he's 29 years old and he's a free agent, which is the same situation that DeMarco Murray's in right now. Has DeMarco Murray's phone rang one time? Because I haven't heard his name since the season ended, not once. So now you're a 29-year-old free agent running back, and he's joining the Adrian Petersons and the DeMarco Murrays and these other guys that can't find a job. To me, like, giving up a second round and taking that risk is not a risk I'd be willing to take. Because, like you just said, the writing's on the wall. Chubb's there. They still have Duke Johnson. If he ends up playing all 3 years there in Cleveland and the whole contract, I'll be absolutely shocked. But if they cut him next year, he's going to be 29 years old. Like, who's looking for a 29-year-old running back to pay what Hyde's going to want?
It'll have to be just like the same situation that Peterson and DeMarco Murray in right now. They're going to have to wait
for
until
injury?
somebody gets injured
Yeah.
in camp, which is going to happen. But they're going to have to wait for that. Murray did have a couple tryouts this offseason, and they decided to go other places. Like, he went to Miami, and he worked out for Miami, and he decided to go with Frank Gore.
He couldn't get the job over Frank Gore.
Right.
Who's 9.
Of course, Frank Gore's going to offer, he's going to ask for less money because of his age and everything like that. So maybe they just decided to go for the cheaper version because they didn't want to pay DeMarco Murray. I don't know. But my point is that the telling tale will be if they extend Duke Johnson, because if they do give him an extension because he's a free agent next year, he wants to be extended. If they do, then to me that means Hyde's out of there.
Yeah, that doesn't scare me. I don't think a mid-second rounder is that risky.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So that's his value.
You
though.
have the 203 and the 204. Would you
I
do the
agree.
204?
I might. It just
Well, when you said I'll send the offer right now, that was for what, a 205?
5.
Okay, that's where you draw the line. Clear. There's Travis's line. It's 204 and a half.
he might do it for a 204,
He was like,
but he will do it for 205.
Absolutely send you the offer. Ooh, 204.
It's a little rich for my boy.
we found that middle is right there. Okay.
I very well could or would. I guess I was thinking because I have both of those, I'll ship off one of those easily and get a decently talented running back that I kind of like. And if things change, then I'll kind of ride that wave. But he may get some work in the beginning of the season, and he may be able to. I'm hurting for running backs. That's how I'm thinking. So I'm kind of in the mix for older
RB2s.
RB2s
That could potentially be RB1.
that
Potentially.
I could rotate, or at any given time, maybe they go on a hot streak or something. I'm looking for that kind of depth. So I think that for me would be.
I actually
today.
really like that philosophy. I can't do it though. I can't. I like guys. I like guys that I know are gonna be productive guy. Like, I hate taking that chance and looking at my roster and being like, damn, like I got C.J. Anderson and I got Jerrick McKinnon and I got Marshawn Lynch, and I just don't want that, like, because it's very possible that they've been RB2s their whole career and they start to tail off and now they're RB3s, and now you're like, damn, like I really need a guy that can get me like 15 to 25 points every single week, and these guys are not that. I mean, they could potentially every once in a while, but I need a guy that I know is going to be like a decent, consistent guy that should be a back-end RB1 or a very top-end RB2, and that's scary. But I've seen you do it before in the league, and you actually won the championship the first year with basically no RB2 after Danny Woodhead went down. And I was like, there's no chance in hell if this guy makes the playoffs, he's going to win the championship looking at your roster. But you were right there, and you ended up winning. You streamed, you made a couple of trades, you did whatever you possibly could to throw in anybody that was
I think
playing.
I had Hightower.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Yes, you
It's
did.
stressful to do it that way
That's what
because
I'm
week to
saying.
week I'd be stressed out.
Right.
Like, damn, is this guy going to give me anything? Is he
I
going to give me
like-
2 points?
I like to sleep at night.
You're almost like, well, this is the only option I have, so here we go. And it works out. You're like, sweet, that was great. If not, you're like, well,
You
that's
feel
kinda
like
what I
a
expected.
world beater. If,
Yeah.
if that-
One interesting note on Carlos Hyde too. This is going into his 5th season as well. He has not rushed for over 1,000 yards, even though he's been the main guy every year he's been there. His highest total was close, 988 in 2016. The one thing that stands out though, and it stands out pretty well, his touchdowns. Like last year he had 8. The year before that he had 6. That's just rushing. And the year before that, in 2016, he had 3 receiving and 6 rushing. So if he's touchdown dependent, does that change anything for you guys? Like, he obviously was getting touchdowns in San Francisco. That's what kind of saved him, because he hasn't broke over 1,000 yards, like I said.
How many catches? 45?
Last year?
Yeah.
Last year he had 59.
Yeah.
Where were we looking? Okay.
2017 he had 59 for
Okay.
350 yards. So yeah, you can catch the ball. He had 88 targets.
Well, I'm saying now that he's going there with Duke Johnson, his receptions are most likely going to go down. I mean, let's be honest.
I think Chubb can catch a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. So his catches are not. He's basically he's going to be the running back, not the receiving back. But I guess they could use both.
Johnson's position is his position. It's going to be like a Chubb and Hyde battle. I don't think Duke is going to be Duke.
Right.
So it all depends on if they just want to roll out Chubb because he's looking so awesome
Right.
and doing whatever. And like if
They
he's
look to
that
get him more-
talent,
yeah.
then yeah, for sure. Yeah, guess what, Hyde? You're gonna be hating life a little bit. But I mean, if they're gonna kind of ease Chubb in, let him kind of get used to everything, the system, he just doesn't just like ball out on him in training camp and preseason. Then yeah, Hyde's a vet. You know, it's not easy to just come and beat out vets necessarily.
I love Nick Chubb coming out of college. I think that if they give him an equal opportunity and tell them both, like, hey, look, Hyde and Chubb, like, this is 50-50 right now. I know we just gave Hyde this contract, but whoever does better is going to get the playing time. We're not locked in on somebody having to start someone just because we paid him a contract. Like, let's get this going. They're both new to the game, to the system, and new to the team, and let's see what happens.
I don't think Cleveland will do that.
No, it's going to be Hyde. But
No, I think Cleveland will leave it as a competition. I don't think they're going to be like, hey,
Oh,
Hyde's
really?
our starter because we paid him all this money. No, I think that Cleveland, the way they are
So does
now, they leave it as a
Does
competition.
Chubb have a chance to win the starting job?
I think he does.
Yeah.
I think he has a chance.
Yeah.
I think that if Chubb didn't get that injury in college for Georgia, he would be talked about just as highly as Saquon Barkley.
If Chubb wins that job, then where does Hyde fit in, relevance wise? If Chubb wins the job and they're like, all right, you're going to be our starting guy. Duke Johnson's Duke Johnson already. He's going to get all the third down catches. Where does that leave Hyde? That's what I'm worried about. If you're willing to give up a 205 for him and send the offer right now and you're that invested, and then all of a sudden Nick Chubb comes in training camp and week one now Chubb's the starter and now you have Chubb and Duke Johnson and now Hyde's like the 1B, where does he fit in there? Like how many targets, how many rushes is he going to get? How many touches is he really going to get if they've already given the job to the rookie?
Well, then I look at him like if I drafted a rookie that I was just going to throw in my taxi squad and not get any use out of either,
Okay.
it's not so much different.
Okay.
But the opportunity for him to get some work might be greater than a rookie coming out.
True. I'd be worried that if the Chubb comes out and starts going crazy, you're like, ugh.
It's a concern, for sure.
Anything else you guys want to add to Jerrick McKinnon's new landing spot, Carlos Hyde, C.J. Anderson's new landing spot?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, let's wrap them up.
Let's crack them.
Crack it.